Hi, I'm Billy, and I'm a visual arts teaching artist at LAMusArt. This is a short video just to show you how some of the online classes are taught at school. We do a range of projects exploring things like portraiture and colour theory and lots of other things. And with each individual project that I teach, I start by showing an inspiring artwork. So we look at that artwork together, I ask some questions, I provide some information, and then we have a discussion as a group. After that, I then show how we're going to do the art making project for the day. I'll do that by doing a warm-up activity with the students, or I'll also show some demonstration techniques. So I might do that live on camera, like right here, or I might show a demonstration video. So now you're going to see a clip of one of the projects that I've done at the school, which explores how to draw the human figure using proportion. And this project was inspired by a portrait by the artist Jose Lozano. What do you notice about this portrait? Does the style of the portrait remind you of anything? Do you know who this person is? And how might you tell? What details has Jose Lozano included that might tell you who it is? This is a portrait of Frida Kahlo, a well-known Mexican artist who famously had a monobrow, which you can see in this image. Jose Lozano is a first-generation Mexican artist who was born in California, but also lived in Mexico when he was younger. Lozano makes artworks about his culture and the culture of his community in California. Frida Kahlo had a huge influence on American art and has also influenced Lozano himself. The title of this work is Recortando a Frida. Recortando means cutting in Spanish. He called it this because he has chosen to represent Kahlo as a paper doll cutout, which is why there isn't any detail in the background and it's plain. You can imagine that you could cut out the dress and place it over the figure to change her clothes. Lozano used to make paper dolls for his nieces, and he later decided to incorporate this idea into his art. Jose Lozano surrounded Frida Kahlo's portrait with objects and details that were significant to her daily life. Lozano said that creating portraits in this way is a bit like telling a short story. He said you can be in charge of designing and placing elements of people's lives. I'm going to read you a story about Frida Kahlo's life, and I want you to look at the image and see if you can find all of the details that Lozano included. Frida Kahlo was a painter, and she used certain tools to make her work, such as paintbrushes and a paint palette. She made many artworks, including a portrait of her husband, the artist Diego Rivera. She also made lots of self-portraits that included details and symbols that told stories about her life, such as the picture she painted of herself wearing a traditional Mexican dress. In 1937, she made a portrait called Me and My Doll, in which she sits on her bed next to a small doll facing the viewer. Kahlo had a pet spider monkey called Fulang Chang and several pet parrots, which she also included in her paintings. When she was 18 years old, Kahlo had an accident involving a crash with a bus. When she was healing, she had a mirror fastened to her bed so that she could look at her reflection and create self-portraits while in a reclining position. This accident was an important event in her life and was often represented in her paintings, possibly in the symbol of a butterfly. Butterflies start their lives as caterpillars and go through a process of transformation. This could be seen as similar to the changes that Kahlo went through when she recovered from her accident. Did you find all the details? Wow, there were so many. So now let's create our own portrait paper doll cutout. To do this, I'm going to show you an example where I create a portrait of myself, but that's mainly just so that I can show you how I represent different features. Lozano created a portrait of someone who was significant to him in his life, so I want you to do the same thing. You should choose someone who's important to you in your life and culture. Now, Lozano said that he used to read and write lots of different stories because he said that you can learn about people from literature. So perhaps think about choosing someone that you've read about in school or at home. You could also choose someone who's close to you. Whoever you choose, it should be someone that you know a lot about so that you can include lots of interesting details in your portrait, such as the types of clothes that they wear, objects and accessories. But before we do that, let's learn a little bit more about how we can draw the body using proportions. Everyone has different heights and shapes, but there are some general measurements that can help us to draw the human body in roughly the correct proportions. It is said that the height of your head multiplied by 8 is also the height of your entire body. See how this head fits into this body that I've drawn 8 times. This means that we can use the head as a measurement for the different sections of the body. If your figure is standing straight up with their hands by their sides, the head, neck, torso and arms are in the top 4 sections of the body. The hands, legs and feet are in the bottom 4 sections of the body. Sometimes artists like to change and experiment with proportions like I did here. But it's good to first learn the correct proportions so that you can experiment and change proportions later. Did you notice how I drew those figures in proportion using only circles and ovals? I like to use simple shapes to represent each part of the body using a very light pencil line. Then I can go back and add details of my portrait on top and erase the lines I don't need. I used an oval for the head, a circle for the neck, a large oval for the torso, and then separate ovals for my upper arm, my forearm, and a smaller oval for my hand. That's just the way I find it easiest to draw a portrait. And I'm going to show you how to do a portrait this way, step by step. Start by drawing an 8-inch line vertically somewhere on your paper. The top of your line will be the top of your figure's head. The bottom of your line will be their feet. So think about that when you're choosing where to place your line. I'm going to place my line somewhere over here, not too close to the edge of the paper, but somewhere just over here to one side so that I have plenty of space to put other objects in my picture. But you could choose a different place. So I'm going to draw my line straight down and I'm going to press quite lightly because we will erase this line later on. Once you've drawn your line, divide it into 8 equal parts. I'm going to use my pencil to make a mark where each of the inch lines are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. There we go, now we have our line. Now we're going to start to draw the different parts of our figure using circles and ovals. So to start with, I'm going to do a circle in the top 1 section of my line. This is going to be the head of my figure. Remember, we're just using circles and ovals now so that we can go back and add details later. Next, what you're going to do is draw your neck, a large oval for the body, and also your arms and forearms in the next 3 sections of your line. Once you've drawn your head, neck, torso, upper arms and forearms in the top 4 sections of your line, you're going to draw your legs, feet and the hands in the bottom 4 sections of your line down here. Now that you have your figure in the correct proportions, you can go over your lines and add details such as clothing, hair, and a facial expression to tell us who your person is and how they feel. You can also add texture to your drawing. For example, if the person in your picture has straight hair, add straight lines. And if your person has wavy or curly hair, add swirly, curly, and wavy lines to their hair. As you add your details and add lines on top of your circles and ovals, you can erase the lines underneath that you don't need anymore. Once I've introduced the art making project, I'll go around and check in with each student as they work. So I'll usually ask them to hold up their artwork to the screen and bring it nice and close so that I can see all the details and give them feedback on their work as they go. I'll also do follow-up demonstrations and answer any questions that they might have. Once we've all finished, the students will do share and reflect. So that means the students will present their work and we'll kind of share with our ideas with each other. Some projects will take just 1 class, while other projects will go over maybe 2 or 3 classes, depending on how complicated they are and on how slowly or quickly the students work. The goal is to introduce students to different artists and artworks, but also to teach them different art making techniques and ideas that they can use to express themselves. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you online soon. Bye-bye.